I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me
The night the stars looked down and found him missing. July 12, 2025. Somewhere between yesterday's dream and tomorrow's silence. There are nights when the sky doesn't shine because it's cloudy. And then there are nights when it refuses to shine, because someone who made it glow is no longer there. Last night, the sky above Seoul flickered strangely, as if searching, as if mourning, as if trying to find the boy who used to gaze up at it with eyes full of galaxies, Kim Taehyung. He left the stage, but the spotlight didn't follow. It was meant to be an ordinary night. No red carpets, no fanfare, just the distant hum of streetlights and the rustle of wind brushing against skyscrapers. But somewhere in the quiet, someone whispered, "He's gone." No formal announcement. No official goodbye. Just silence. Not the kind that ends a story, but the kind that starts a myth. A city that knows his name by heart. Seoul has always loved him in a language only it could speak. It watched him grow from a boy with wide eyes to a man whose silence echoes louder than most people's screams. And when he disappeared into the folds of the night, perhaps to a studio, perhaps to nowhere, every alley, every bridge, every cafe he once smiled at felt it. The absence. The ache. The hush that falls when the heart skips a beat for someone who's no longer in the room. Was it just a pause or the start of a new era? There's talk. Of LA again. Of hidden recordings. Of secret film shoots. Of another runway that's not in Paris this time, but somewhere warmer, freer. Some say he's meeting Jungkook. Some say he's preparing something bigger than Celine, than fashion, than fame. But none of it is confirmed. Because when legends move, they don't leave trails. They leave questions. The fans who waited without knowing what for. At Incheon, a small group still gathers. They don't chant. They don't hold signs. They just stand, like quiet stars waiting to orbit their sun again. Some hold their phones, replaying the same 9-second clip of him adjusting his coat under the Paris lights. Some write diary entries, not about what he did, but how he made them feel. And others simply sit in silence. Because sometimes love is quieter than grief. His silence speaks louder than headlines. He hasn't posted since the 18 photo drop on Instagram. No lives. No interviews. Just echoes. The kind you feel in the bones, not the ears. And yet, #Taehyung lives here trends in cities he hasn't set foot in. Cafes change playlists to match his jazz mood. Streets in Japan play his unreleased song like a prayer on loop. The world doesn't need his voice to hear him. Because presence isn't always noise. Sometimes it's breath. Stillness. Memory. More than a fashion icon. A mirror we're all looking into. When he walked in Paris, people saw beauty. But when he disappeared, they saw themselves. How many of us have smiled through exhaustion? How many have waved when we wanted to run? How many have given the world everything, only to retreat when we needed something just for ourselves? Taehyung didn't just leave. He reminded us it's okay to. Where the wind carries his name. In the cafes of Montmartre, waiters still speak of the quiet prince. In the streets of Itaewon, his scent still lingers in a bookstore aisle. In a Tokyo back alley, a mural appears overnight. A boy in a Celine coat, surrounded by violets with the words, "He was here." And across the world, fans whisper, "Not goodbye. Just not yet." A love that doesn't expire. Taehyung and ARMY have always been more than artist and fan. They are time and memory. Ocean and tide. The kind of bond that doesn't scream for attention, but bleeds into lives quietly, permanently. You don't forget someone like him. Because he doesn't just perform. He imprints. The next time we see him, he might be on a red carpet in LA, or in a recording booth in Seoul, or walking barefoot through a field in Jeju, sketchbook in hand. He might be smiling at the moon in silence, or laughing off camera with people we'll never meet. But wherever he is, he's not lost. Just living. Just being. Just breathing for once, without the weight of a million hearts on his shoulders. Until then, we keep remembering. Not to hold on too tight, but to honor what he gave. Moments. Meaning. Magic. And the memory of a boy who walked through cities like a dream and left them gasping for air when he was gone.
Tissue. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a
Some disappearances scream. Others whisper. And then there are those that linger, like smoke that never leaves the fabric, like perfume on a letter never sent. That's what Taehyung became. Not a ghost. Not a memory. But a presence too heavy for words, too quiet to chase, too sacred to explain. A mirror left in the middle of the world. Since that night, everything feels reflected. Seoul doesn't quite shine the same. It flickers. The neon signs still blink. The traffic still flows. But beneath the motion, there's stillness. Beneath the music, there's a note missing. One that only he could play. One that only ARMY hears when everything else goes silent. In the absence, rumors grow like vines. They say he was spotted in California. A blurry photo of someone in a cap and mask. Too tall. Too graceful. It had to be him. Others claim he's in Norway, chasing auroras, painting with snowlight, writing poems no one will ever read. And some say he's not anywhere. Because to be somewhere is to be found. And Taehyung? He's beyond geography now. He's become a frequency, tuned into only by those who once sat in arenas, watching him breathe in the dark between songs. Not missing. Just misunderstood. He's gone, some say. But the real ones, the ones who stayed since day one, know better. He's not gone. He's just becoming. Becoming the version of himself that doesn't have to answer to the weight of a billion expectations. The version that writes for the sake of writing, sings with no mic, dances with no stage. And yet, somehow we feel it. ARMY doesn't wait. They remember. At subway exits, Taehyung's photos have quietly returned. Not from PR teams. But from fans. Pinned like prayers on corkboards, folded into diary pages, slipped between books at second-hand shops. Not because they want him back. But because they never let him go. In this fandom, remembering is an act of love. Waiting is not passive. It is active devotion. A friend posts a song. A whisper becomes a roar. Last night, Jungkook posted a 12-second clip. A melody. Soft minor chords. Unfinished lyrics. But in the background, barely audible, was laughter. And not just anyone's. The deep, almost husky laugh that once echoed backstage during Bon Voyage. The laugh that melted millions during Run BTS episodes. Taehyung's. No caption. No context. Just a sound. And suddenly, the world breathed again. Is he watching us? Some fans wonder, is he still reading the comments? Does he see the reels? The edits? The 3 a.m. TikToks scored to Jazz and Moonlight? Somehow we know he does. Because once he said, I don't reply to everything, but I see it all. And if we know anything about him, it's this. He's always been where love is. Even in the silence. Especially in the silence. His disappearance taught us to feel again. In a world addicted to dopamine, to speed, to content and chaos, Taehyung did the unthinkable. He paused. And in doing so, made the world listen. Made us feel the beat between the bass. Made us notice the breath before the high note. He didn't walk away to be missed. He walked away to be real. The city is still waiting, but differently now. Paris waited with perfume and flashbulbs. Seoul waits with silence. But it's not the same kind of silence. This one is gentle. Accepting. Not because they've moved on, but because they've learned to carry him in the quiet. They no longer wait for the next post. They wait for the next feeling. This is no longer a love story. It's a legacy. Taehyung gave the world a blueprint of how to exist with grace. How to dress with poetry. How to speak without words. How to leave without closing the door. Now it's our turn to walk those steps. And still, the wind carries his name. In every airport where fans stand still. In every concert where a purple light flickers, even in his absence. In every piano note that feels like longing. In every boy who dares to be soft in a world that demands steel. His name moves, gently, perpetually. Like a thread in the world's fabric. Like the echo of a voice you didn't know you missed until it stopped. Not every goodbye is an ending. Some are just a turning page. Taehyung didn't vanish. He unfolded. Beyond the screen. Beyond the lens. Beyond our reach, but never beyond our love. And when he returns, because he will, it won't be for validation. It will be for poetry. For soul. For the kind of truth you can't brand, package, or stream. Only feel.